we protest, it's not going to do nothing. You know, we need legislation. We need something to be done. The system has to get changed. And it's the same thing with white folks marching about Syria and everything like that. It's not going to do nothing. Plain and simple. It's not going to change the direction these people are going in. And the fact that, you know, for hundreds of years, they've been going towards, you know, this direction. It's part of their agenda. They're not just going to stop it. The simple fact that you have the whole thing, Isaiah 17:1, as I talked about in the Bible, about the city of Damascus being destroyed. The fact that it's in the Bible tells you it's part of their agenda, and that's what they planning on doing. So Syria, I mean, I give Assad credit. They put up a pretty good goddamn fight. Seriously, because I'm shocked they lasted this long. I thought Assad would have been going with Obama, but they couldn't get the job done for whatever reason. See, they ain't telling us how these little skirmishes is going. We don't understand how Assad has been able to stay in power and avoid them and stay out of the whole situation that Gaddafi found himself in. I don't understand. Like, so he must got some forces and some powerful people behind him as far as the military, what have you, because I'm shocked they didn't take him out by now. Syria, it's not that big. But trust me, the people in Iran is not going to flee like the people in Syria. I highly doubt that. I believe they will put up a fight. It would be the same as going into Russia and trying to defeat them. You have to fight the entire country. And the people in Syria are not armed. They fled. And we see what happened. They're refugees now. I don't see that happening with Iran. Those people dug in. You see how they fought. I mean, just pay attention to the Iraq-Iran war and pay attention to how they fought and how they was dug in. I mean, first to even get anywhere towards where the civilizations is at, where the people was at, you got to fly through all these mountainous regions of just nothing. But dug in is torrents and guns and people and bases and all kinds of shit that you got to pass first in order to hit anything. So even if we do send a drone or airstrike, before it can reach where it needs to reach, they'll probably been took it out before it got there. So it would have to be like almost like you would have to almost nuke them, to me, to really take them out of power. And you know, I don't think they're going to do something like that because they won't be able to justify it. But that's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a tough one for them to basically try to do what they did with Gaddafi and same thing they're doing with Assad to Iran, because they don't have, it's going to be tough for them to get people in there on the ground as spies, whatever, and to pay people off, these so-called insurgents and these militia, what have you, these mercenaries, you might as well say, to go in there and start setting stuff up as far as chemical weapon attacks and all these bogus stuff and blame it on Assad or blame it on Iran. It's going to be tough. So we'll see. But once Syria falls, we know what's next. So there's a lot of people who falling for this whole thing. United States don't have any enemies as far as governments. And that's just a fact. The enemies they have is people, plain and simple. It's one of the reasons why, you know, them doing what they're doing and running around and being in everybody's business around the world, it makes it unsafe for us as Americans to travel. You know, this is why a lot of tourists get kidnapped and killed when they go certain places. As I said, when I was in Egypt, they said, hey, don't tell nobody you're an American. And I heard that from a lot of people. And even when I was going into some of the sites, the tour guides was, you know, are you American? They kept asking, you know, no Americans here. And they kept saying, oh, I was like, no, I'm from Sweden. You know, even though I clearly sound like I'm from America. But it's real. So they make it tough. They make it tough for us to really go certain places. And we don't, you know, we don't hit these places up anyway because we ain't trying to go to none of that. But it's one of those things where the people understand what's taking place and what's going on, which is why a lot of those people stayed in or staying in Syria, because Assad, when you pay attention to the economy and how good everything is going there, it's like, you know, come on, why this dude has the life, everything is good. It's the same thing with Gaddafi. The people were treated fairly and well. He was trying to share the wealth with the people. So, you know, them showing us videos of these paid off mercenaries going and shooting up shit and everything like that as if they are against the regime or against the administration. It's all a setup. You know, it's a setup. And they basically doing the same thing here with the whole Trump thing, you know. So it's not as many, I don't think, it's not as many people who are being critical enough against Trump for the right reasons. Everybody come out and talk about Twitter and a whole bunch of stupid stuff, but nobody's talking about the real issues, of course, because, you know, we're not going to ever hear about it. And it's really going to keep going until it's done. And that's just, we're going to keep talking about it. To me, what I think happened, they gave him a time frame. Okay, you have until this date to figure this shit out. And if not, then we coming back in here. And that's basically what it is. It has to be something, to me, that they don't want to either destroy over there, or I don't think it's the that he has a really major military and it's just hard for us to attack, which that could be it, because we don't have, you know, a bunch of boots on the ground where we can go in and just take over. Now, if they would have got because Obama basically failed, when you understand, if they would have got the backing that they thought they was going to get as far as trying to get the Americans on board with going into Syria, that was Obama's job, then it would have been over, because we would have had boots on the ground. We would have been able to go in there and just take it out. But, you know, Obama couldn't get that job done, and now Trump's trying to pick up where he left off and try to get boots on the ground. But people are smarter now, and people are waking up and seeing that this whole thing is bullshit. And, you know, when you got dead babies and people and refugees fucking up economies everywhere, it's tough to justify it, and especially when you can't give us any proof of success, you know, plain and simple. So we look at Iraq, it's no better. It's worse off than when Saddam was in power. Same thing with Libya. So give us some kind of numbers or data or proof showing that America going into these countries and, you know, destroying them is somehow stabilizing the economy and helping the people out. They can't do that, you know, and they already justifying the fact that there's casualties. So when we see these dead, blowing up babies and houses and buildings fall down and kill entire families, it's war. It's war. You know, they try to justify it. This is why I say, you know, a lot of these white people in power, they don't care about shit, plain and simple. And a lot of people turn their face and they turn their nose to, you know, kids being killed. This is what they have always done. You know, when you see this type of stuff going on TV, and so you see all the pictures and videos and stuff that they can send out, that they get to send out from Syria. I mean, come on. That should have been enough for rational grown folks to come together and say, we got to stop this. It's babies being squished to death in buildings, but they don't care about that shit, plain and simple. Anytime when you see anybody with a hint of melanin in them, you know, fuck them. You know, this is how they look at it. You're not going to see that in France. You're not going to see them come in France with some kind of full-scale attack or something like that. You won't see it in Belgium. You won't see it in all these other countries that's Serbia, what have you, that's predominantly, you know, white. And we see this in the Middle East with the dark-skinned people who, you know, the mix that they created when the Aryans came in and mixed in with these people to give us these Arabs. And they just basically going in and take it and, you know, cleaning up, you might as well say. And as I said, the whole thing with the Saudi family and on the whole thing, which is why they got kings and they have never been touched. Their job right now is to take Yemen. And this, another thing they're not reporting on and talking about enough is how Yemen is fighting back. And it's a big deal right now. It's a lot of stuff going on that's not put out there on the news that involves us. But we don't have no enemies. We don't have no freaking countries or governments trying to come after America. We have bases everywhere. It's American military bases all over the world. They know what they're doing. It's a couple places that they need to take over, and they got to get justification before they use, you know, you or somebody you know, and these white people's kids and families and husbands and wives or what have you to go die for their agenda. And that's basically what it is. It's all bullshit. It's a ruse to get you to go give your life for their agenda. So yeah, I got a couple messages from people talking about this, and it's just, you know, I put out the whole video about ISIS and, you know, the whole thing about the Levant and what that whole thing is about. And again, it's the same thing from way back then when I put that video out talking about them trying to take the Levant. It's just them trying to get the last pieces, plain and simple, to get Syria out the way. Then they're going for, you know, Iran. And then when it's supposed to be this whole world war with America and Russia and China, what have you, what they're going to do is they're going to sacrifice one of these states. It's supposed to be New York. That's going to get nuked. A bunch of people is going to die and be sacrificed so they can have a new world order. Plain and simple. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be this big, you know, rise to this war, World War III, and everybody's going to be on end, and they're going to nuke or bomb one of these states, and the casualties and the amount of people that's going to die is they're going to say, oh, well, you know, we have to stop this and the world needs to come together and heal, and they're going to have the new world order that way. And that's basically what's going to happen. And everybody's going to be in with it, and everybody's going to be duped thinking that it's, that's what happened and it wasn't staged when they wrote about the shit. And this is what they're going to do. So, pay attention. I don't see it happening in this lifetime, to tell you the truth, but it's possible. They definitely trying. It's just, you can't keep getting caught up in stuff, plain and simple. The news, of course, they bought off. They're going to keep lying about everything. And every time this stuff pops up, you already know what they're trying to do. So you don't got to keep, every time something pops up thinking, what is this about? What is this about? It's about the same thing, plain and simple. Them taking Syria, them taking Iran, them, getting a freaking war and taking over. So this is what all this stuff is leading to. This is what this stuff is all about. And it ain't going nowhere, because the people who can make it stop won't make it stop, plain and simple. And they was very smart and strategic and put themselves in a position where it is what it is. And it's nothing nobody can do unless people wake up and just say, hey, we need to stop this shit. But, the few people that's speaking out, they're about to silence us and shut down, that whole situation, as I talked about before. So eventually it's not going to be no real opposition to what's going on. It's not going to be any real truth coming out. And if it is, you're going to have to pay for it. Plain and simple. You have to pay for it. Internet sales, as I talked about, with the internet neutrality is going to go up. And if you want to see that type of stuff, you got to pay money for it. And they're going to be monitoring who does pay money for it. Trust me. And it is what it is. It's just one of those situations where, it's frustrating when you see it and you understand what's going on. But that's why I tell people, live your life, get successful. At least in this time that you have here, don't be no slave to them. Get your shit together. Get out here. Enjoy this place. It's still a lot of stuff out here that you can enjoy. Keep yourself spiritually correct. And, what's going to happen is going to happen. It's not, your fault that, they doing what they doing. It is what it is. And, as long as we keep educating each other on what's going on and people understand exactly what these people are trying to do, we can slow them down as much as possible. But unless it's just this mass awakening, this shit ain't going to stop. People going to keep doing what they're doing. But I wanted to put this out real quick. And I usually always put out a video after I put out DVDs to let people understand what's going on. And it's a lot. That's what I always say. A lot that I'm doing, a lot coming up, a lot that I'm trying to get out. I have this huge clothing line that I'm working on that's getting ready to launch soon. So you'll see about that. And a lot more videos to come. Got to put more on YouTube. A lot more people keep asking about it. I know, super busy. But yeah, see you guys next video. Thanks to everybody who purchased and support. And as I said, first 3 books are out. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. Crazy. Definitely want to check them out. And see you guys next video.